estimation, that how accurately you estimate the charging. That is one of the very important parameter in the research domain. Similarly, state of health estimation. What is the health of the battery? So as the battery gets number of years you are using it, so as the number of years uses, and the battery state of health also get deteriorates. So if you are accounting it, it will be better for you to make a planning. Suppose you are driving your vehicle and your vehicle battery is 3 years, so you can estimate that the battery health, though it is showing 100% charge, but I cannot go to 150 kilometer as it was giving it. So accordingly you will plan your journey, that no, I can go only up to 100 kilometers. Okay, so battery state of health estimation and battery actual state of charge estimation are one of the important parameter. Now I'll give another example. Those who are using Apple, I'm using Apple MacBook Air. So if you charge to, suppose your battery is 70%, okay, and I just close my flap and I open it, my laptop, after 3 months, still it will be showing 70%. But if you are having other products like Dell or Lenovo, if you're shutting down your laptop for at 70% of the charge, and if you open it after 3 months, you'll be finding that 60% is there showing, sometimes 55% showing. It means the battery power is getting drained automatically, it is discharging it. Okay, so these are the features why the MacBook is costlier. Okay, and the weight is less. So all these features are telling about the technology, and the technology we are going to discuss. Okay, so you can understand in nutshell that when we are going to understand about electric vehicle, we are going to go on electric vehicle, what are the battery technology in electric vehicles, then the battery management systems. Okay, how, what are the different types of battery management system, what are the type of chargers and which we are going to make it, and what are the different charging methods, then battery state of charge, as I told you, what is SOC and what is SOH. Then once this is understood, how I can make a next generation charging based on SOH and capacity fading. Okay, capacity fading is nothing but state of health estimation. So once the number of years goes on, the capacity of the battery is fading, and that you are going to take into consideration of SOH. So that is your next generation charging. Okay, so I hope it is clear, and I think your my my speed is average, and you are understanding all these things. Okay, any doubt, please ask a questions, ask a questions. You can unmute and ask the questions. Okay, now history of electric vehicle, as you can see that in 1834 it was first initiated, and in 90s you can see that 90 onwards you can see various automobile companies started manufacturing commercial electric vehicles. Okay, so in India there was a Reva car was there, you can see it, but all the issues has was happening with the battery. Motor we are very good, motor we are very good, but only the battery technology is creating a problem. But at the onset of the lithium ion batteries, the electric vehicle is again gaining a speed, and hope that in 4 to 5 years you will be able to convert your cars, existing cars, into electric vehicles. Okay, then again history of battery. So there is a Baghdad battery, you can say that it has started in 250 BC. Okay, and so on. The Benjamin Franklin first coined the term battery in 1749, and in this way the history goes on. And in 1996 the lithium ion phosphate battery was developed. Okay, by Akshaya Padhi, he was an Indian, and J good enough at University of Texas. Okay, so you can say that the battery is improving day by day, and as the battery is improving it, there is a feasibility and future of the electric vehicle. You can see it in the market. Okay, so now I'll divide the electric vehicle into different technologies. So first is your EV technology. So EV technology can be PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, and that is your battery operated electric vehicles. Okay, so in the literature you may have seen PHEV or EV or BEV. So almost they are same thing only. Only plug-in hybrid electric vehicles means what? You are trying to charge the battery, okay, and there is a combustion engine, so there is a hybrid system is there. So if your battery gets exhausted, you can use the hybrid. But when you talk about the battery electric vehicle, it will be purely battery operated, है ना? Once the charge is exhausted, you cannot run your cars. So that is called battery electric vehicle. Okay. Then types of EVs, है ना? So there can be a passenger cars, there can be commercial vehicles, there can be e-rickshaws, there can be two-wheeler, and there can be three-wheeler. Okay. So three-wheeler you can see in the market, even e-rickshaw you can see in the market, है ना? Two-wheelers also has come into picture. Hero has started, is going to start its production in the electric two-wheeler segments in next years, means 2021. Okay, passengers cars you can see right now that MG Hector, MG you might have had Morris Garage company. So they have rolled out a passengers cars in electric vehicle domain, and Mahindra has made E Verito, and from last 2 3 years it is running it. Then the Tata has made it Tata E Tigor, है ना? Tata E Tigor. So already passengers cars is coming in, and I'll say you that there are many buses, है ना, plying in Chennai road, which is purely electric vehicles. Okay, so this is your commercial vehicles. So in this way, है ना, there are types of EVs. Now typical use, so you can charge at home or office, okay, or you can charge at private or public outlet, or you can charge at commercial places. So you can charge at any places. Charging infrastructure, you can make a slow charging, you can make a fast charging. Now what is the difference between slow charging and fast charging? Slow charging is generally done for 6 hours to 7 hours. You put your cars, put it on the garage, and in the night and in the morning you can get your car fully charged. But fast charging, it is believed that the Tesla, which is a very good competitors in the automobile industries in terms of electric vehicles, they are claiming that in 30 minutes you can charge up to 350 kilowatt hour. It means through 350 kWh, you can go for 350 kilometer. So in half an hour, 30 minutes, you can charge your 350 kWh. Means you are going to a petrol pump, okay, or diesel pump, and there is a charger, and there is a, so beside that petrol pump, there is a cafe. So you go and drink a coffee or tea, relax, and in 30 minutes, your whole vehicle will get charged, which will be available for your 350 kilometers. Okay. And the days are not far behind to see these realities. In India, the fast charging capability is of 90 minutes. Okay. So in 90 minutes, you can completely charge your vehicles up to 350 kWh. Okay. So this is the facilities. Okay. So once the Tesla comes into Indian market, I think there is a hope that you can have a fast charging in 30 minutes. Okay. Even the people are doing research on a fast charging to make it lesser than 30 minutes. In 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you can completely charge your vehicle battery. Now, battery technology. Battery technology is in terms of geometry, there can be cylindrical type, there can be prismatic type, there can be pouch type. Okay, pouch type is mostly used in your mobiles. Okay, prismatic type is mostly used in electric vehicles, but cylindrical type is also used in electric vehicles. So, na? Cylindrical type, you know it, hai na? Okay, so this is now chemistry composition. So there can be many composition in lithium. So you see there can be lithium cobalt oxide, lithium iron phosphate, LFP. LFP used mostly in India, na, because it is prone to the heating, because India temperature is very high. So LFP batteries are more suitable in the Indian market. Okay. Lithium titanate is there, lithium manganese oxide is there. So there are n number of combination of this. Okay. But lithium iron phosphate is mostly used, na, and it is available, readily available in the Indian market, the cells. Okay. So the cells you can use cylindrical type, prismatic type, pouch type. Pouch type is mostly used in the laptops or mobile phones. Prismatic types is mostly used in electric vehicle, and Tesla is using mostly cylindrical type. Okay, so this type of batteries are there. Now, need of battery management systems. So what is a battery management system? As I told you, that if we do not put a battery management system, there is a chances that the battery which is made of cells, so different cells in series and parallel combination, it may take blast, है ना. So BMS is a protection circuitry, है ना. It is responsible for the safe operation and prolonged life of the battery. Then thermal runaway of lithium cells can lead to explosions. Okay. Now, what is the work of BMS? BMS also estimates SOC and SOH. What is SOC? Can you tell anyone what is SOC? Those who are sleeping, for them, I am putting in questions. So, can you just tell me what is SOC?
State of charge, sir.
State of charge. Okay. And SOH?
State of health.
Okay.
State of
So when I say BMS estimate a state of charge and a state of health, it means what? It is a BMS is a circuitry, है ना, which senses the parameters, and based on that, it senses that what is the state of health, what is the state of charge, and accordingly, suppose state of charge is 100%. So BMS will say that no, don't charge now, battery is full. If the BMS estimates SOC to be 10%, he will say that okay, BMS will tell that okay, now charge the battery up to 100%, 90% you can charge it. Okay. Even the state of health also estimation is required, because if the state of health is estimated and accordingly the battery future can be predicted. Okay. So it estimates remaining useful life and power of the battery and performs cell balancing. That is one of the very important parameter of cell balancing. So you can make a research on cell balancing as well. Okay, cell balancing, how to balance the cell voltage, because the cell voltage, if it is not balanced, what happens? The current will flow, and that current will leads to the temperature rise, and that temperature rise will make you a blast. So these are the actual diagrams where your blast has happened. Okay, this is the cells after the blast, so you can understand what is the issues. That is why you are not allowed to carry the lithium ion batteries. Cells you can carry it, but lithium ion battery you cannot take it, है ना? For that it requires battery management systems. Now I can just explain with the help of a battery management system what is a battery management systems. Okay, so you can just see here that this is a user interface and this is your electrical control. What I can measure from the battery? I can measure current, voltage, and temperature. Only three things I can measure it. Okay, I cannot measure state. So what I have to do it? I have to make a state determination. Okay, so using current, voltage, and temperature, I have to estimate that what is the SOC in state of charge of the battery. Okay, so based on this, I'll go give to the user interface and it will go to the electrical control. Okay. Then from electrical control, there is a safety protection. And from here, I'll try to take a data acquisition. Okay. So data acquisition, then based on the data acquisition, I'll make a thermal management and communication. So you can say that there is a 3 to 4 layers are there. This is the first layer. This is second, third, and fourth layer. Okay. So you are managing thermal management. Okay. You are using a communication protocol, data acquisition, safety protection, and all these things you are using it. So this is a very accurate, you can say that, research, and people are doing a research in battery management systems like anything. Okay. So what is the function of the battery management system? It manages the energy in and out of the battery pack based on the SOC and temperature. Okay. It acts on safety. It acts on safety related requests from other vehicle systems. It maintains the safety of the rechargeable energy system, storage system. So it maintains the safety of the rechargeable energy systems. Okay. Then electric vehicle battery solutions. So either you can reuse, refabricate, or recycle it. Na? So what are the issues? Na? Many people have thought that if you are going to a petrol pump or charging station, it requires 1.5 hours to charge it. So why don't you make a swapping of the battery? Okay, recycling of the battery or reuse of the battery. So as we are using a gas, so if a gas is filled, and once filled, and you take it the filled one, and this part you can replace it. So people are thinking of about the reuse or refabricate or recycling of the battery, or that is called a swapping technology. So there also many algorithms has been developed and people are trying to do on the battery management systems. Okay. Now, how EV users can be benefited. Now, we have talked about the EV. Now, if I say you that you are having a EV, okay, you are having an electric vehicle, and it is believed that 97 or 96% of the time your electric vehicle is idle. You just see your own vehicle. Suppose you are having a scooty or you are having a car. Can you just make a thought process that how much time your vehicle is idle? Can you just calculate it, anyone? In 24 hours of the time, are you driving 24 hours of time? And if you say 24 hours of time, can you tell me that how much time it is sitting idle? Your personal car, I'm talking about. You will be using from your home to the office. Okay. And while going from office, you will be going back to the home. Then in the evening, you will be going for a market. Okay. For shopping. Just uh, can you just think me and tell me? Anna, I'll just pause for 2 minutes. I'll pause for 2 minutes. Think it and tell me. I don't know how to mute it. Can you just tell me how much time you is there for EV to be idle or any cars to be idle?
Hello,
Please tell. Please tell.
sir. I have a
Yeah.
query. So, what makes lithium to be common in every battery?
See, lithium is common to makes a common to every battery because lithium has a higher charge density as compared to lead acid. We are using lead acid batteries in most of the cases, है ना? Even you are having inverter, you are using lead acid batteries. Even your all the cars for lighting purpose, they are using lead acid batteries. But it has having higher charge density at a smaller place. So if you compare lead acid battery, as we know it, and lithium ion batteries, it is acquiring one fourth of the space as compared to lead acid, and it is two-third more than the lead acid batteries. It is trying to store the energy. So space reduction as well as charge storage is higher as compared to lead acid batteries. So that is why lithium is more feasible. Now, the people are using different type of lithium batteries. The reason behind it that few lithium ion batteries are prone to higher thermal management systems. Few lithium batteries are like that. Lithium batteries are that they are very prone to the heating. So if you go to different countries like European Union and US, you will find that the lithium ion batteries are they are not using lithium phosphate, ferrous phosphate batteries, LFP battery. They are using LCO or LMO batteries. Okay, so it depends upon where you are using it. But lithium combinations have a lot many combinations are there, and LFP batteries are very good in heating resistance. And for Indian environment, we are using LFP batteries. I think I have cleared your doubts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now my question is that can you calculate that how many what's called how many percentage of in a day your electric vehicle or any vehicle is idle? The question is open to everyone. Okay, so I have taken a break, है ना? And I hope you have not given answer to my questions. Okay, so anyone can tell me how much hours your vehicle is idle? To calculate it, please. My sound is audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Audible,
okay.
sir.
So it is believed that 96 to 97% of the time your vehicle is idle. Okay, you can calculate yourself, है ना? So now what I wanted to say it that if your vehicle is idle, how you can earn from the electric vehicle? Okay, that is one of the very important point, है ना? So how you can earn, है ना? For example, in India, TOD, that is called time of day pricing. Okay, so time of day pricing is going to be applicable from the next year, है ना? 2021 at the end of the 2021. So you have heard about the time of day pricing is happening in for the petrol pumps, है ना? So whenever you see that the prices changes every day, okay. So the government of India has introduced about the prices. So similarly, the price of the energy, electrical energy, is going to vary from every day. So when the everyday prices are varying it, how we can temper that things? Okay. So how we can utilize that? So if I say that I am having electric vehicle and it is parked at my office, okay, and office is connected with a grid, and there is a charging station. So if grid says that please do not take 2 ampere of current from the grid, please take only 1 ampere of current, and for that the prices which you are going to charge I'll reduce to half. Okay, why grid will say? Because grid is overloaded, and in that you are trying to overload your system. So battery is a system where a current can flow at any rate. Okay, depending upon the BMS will give instruction that you can charge your battery, because faster to slower is better. when you make a more current into the battery, there is a chances of battery heating and damage. Okay, and more prone to the damage of the battery. So what you are going to say that okay, I'll take a charge of 1 ampere current, okay, and I'm going to stabilize the grid. In that case, what price the grid will give? So in that case, the grid will say that okay, I'll pay you 2 rupees and instead of 8 rupees. Okay, so in that case, your vehicle is going to get earn of the money. Okay, now there can also be a situation where the electric vehicle can work as a support to the grid. How it can support to the grid? Suppose there is a vehicle and the vehicle is fully charged, है ना, and grid is overloaded. You say that okay, I can sell my power to the grid. So in that case, you are going to sell the power to the grid. Okay, how you can sell it? Because it is connected to a node, है ना, and node is nothing but a grid. Okay, so if you understand KCL, from KCL purpose, you can understand that how the power can go to the local load. So the local load, and you are having a metering system by which you can make it. Now, what is a metering? Metering is a net meter, we call it. You might have heard about PV net meter. Similarly, there is a V2G net meter, and Thapar University is developing one such kind of meter, first in the world, you can say that. Okay. So we have got one projects, and from that projects, we have developed a AC and DC net meter, which can measure the power in both the directions. Okay. So that is the issues which we are doing it. Okay. So what I mean to say that though your electric vehicle is idle and it is connected to the grid, still you are earning it. Number one. Number two, you can ask a question that why I will charge and discharge, my battery will get damaged. Yes, of course. Hana? You are charging and discharging as per the grid request, but you are earning the money. You are earning the money. When you are earning the money, Hana, if you spend something, if something is getting deteriorated after for earning, there is no any problem. Suppose you are buying a shoes, good shoes, a Skechers shoes is there, which I feel that it is one of the best shoes. So you are buying a Skechers shoes, and for that you are trying to run a good time of running. So it means what? You are trying to save your energy. Okay, you are not getting your leg is not getting fractured, your leg is not getting damaged. Okay, your leg or body is not aching. So what you do, you try to invest a money in the battery, you charge discharge, you earn it. So that is why it is called that even EVs are idle, sitting idle, you are trying to get a money out of this. So rates vary according to the time of day. Therefore, batteries can be charged at the time when prices are low. Okay. If batteries charge at peak hours of the day, consumers can be charged heavily. Okay. Suppose at peak hours, evening is the peak hours, for example, at one particular area. And if batteries are charged at peak hours of the day, the consumers will be charged heavily. So why? What I'll do, I'll not charge my battery during peak hours. I'll try to charge in the off-peak hours. So generally it is believed that night hours is the off-peak powers rate. So off-peak hours rate, you are trying to get reduced price. Okay. So this is a very beneficial thing. So that is why time of day pricing is very important. And if time of day pricing is introduced, the EV users will be benefited. Okay. So this is what I wanted to say, that how EV users can be benefited. Okay. Now, there is a concept of net meter, which I told you in the earlier slides. So net meter means what? Whatever the energy you are getting into the battery at any instant of time will be recorded. And whatever the energy you are trying to give to the grid, that is recorded. So based on that, the net metering concept has come into play, and net metering concept, we are making it, and you can see on the website in a few days that it is going to be, we are going to commercialize that net meter. So minute by minute recording will be there. And in this way, you can understand that how much I have taken the power and how much I have given power to the grid. Okay. So another way how EV users can be benefited. So that is called dynamic current management. As I told you, that control of flow of current during charging and discharging of a battery. So what you are doing, you are trying to make a demand response. That load is only variable. Battery load is variable. But if you try to run a AC, if you try to run a laptop, battery, bulb, fan, these are not variable. Okay, these are not variable. That is fixed. But the battery current which is flowing into the battery or out of the battery, that is a variable one which you can have a control. So when you are trying to have a control, what you are doing, you are trying to giving a benefit to the smart grid. When you are giving a benefit to the smart grid will in turn give you a benefit. So that is why I have written that dynamic current managements can be achieved through electric vehicles. Okay. So here controlling of flow of current during charging and discharging of battery, excess charging of battery can be eliminated. Okay. Charge can be controlled instantaneously as sudden current increase or decrease can be managed through implemented algorithms. Okay. So a lot of people are using on this algorithms, how to develop the algorithm so that my charge can be controlled instantaneously. Okay. Then reduction in battery life degradation as current is not allowed to reach beyond a specified limit. So you are trying to maintain the battery life also. Suppose the grid is telling that, okay, now you take 5 ampere, but the battery management system say that, no, I cannot take 5 ampere right now because my battery capacity is not allowing me to take 5 current. So what you will be doing, you say that only I will take 4 ampere of current for safety purpose. So in this way, you are trying to manage the grid. Okay. Now, this is the detailed layout of EV charging system. Okay. Just can you, if you see it, this is the wheels are there. This is the AC to DC converters. This is the PFC and this is the DC to DC converter. Can you tell me anyone that what is the role of this PFC? Already once I am doing AC to DC conversion, okay, and I am putting a DC to DC converter, for example, to charge my battery pack. What is the use of the PFC here? Anyone can tell? You all are from electrical background?
Yes, sir. Mostly from electrical
Okay.
background, sir.
So can you tell me what is the role of this PFC here? Anyone? Okay. I'll tell you, this is your charger. Okay, this is your complete charger. So what I mean to say that this supply is AC. So I convert AC into DC. Okay. But this DC, when you are trying to make it AC into DC, this is not a flat DC. Okay, flat DC. So there will be some harmonics content will be there. Okay. Because this DC will be having some sinusoidal component. Okay. It will not be purely sinusoidal, but it will be having a wave shape component. So this wave shape component, you are trying to use it a PFC, that is power factor control equipment. Means what you are doing it, you are trying to make it a unity power factor. And once you are getting a shape, a straight wave shape, then you pass it to DC converter. And here you try to control the duty cycle to charge or discharge your battery. Charge your battery. So in this way, this is your bidirectional converter. This is your DC bus. Okay. And then once this is DC supply is given, again you put one DC to AC because electric motors in electric vehicle are mostly used BLDC motors or you are using a 3-phase induction motor. So when you are using a 3-phase induction motor, again you require DC to AC. So DC to AC supply is given to electric motor and this is the differential which is going to drive it. Okay. Now here I have mentioned onboard charging, offboard charging and onboard charging. So this is the charging where your whole complete system is there on your electric car. So that is called onboard charging. Offboard charging means what? You are having a AC supply convert into DC and that DC you directly give it over here. Okay. That DC over you directly over give it over here. So when you are giving the DC supply here directly or you are giving directly here, so this complete system is removed from the electric vehicle. So only you give a supply, so that is called a offboard charging. Now, what is the use of onboard and offboard? In onboard, this circuitry will be very less. Circuitry will be very less, and the thickness of the wire will be less, because you cannot put a larger amount of cross-sectional area. So for that purpose, you put all these things because larger cross-sectional area means it will require higher current, heating problem will be there. So all these things will be taken outside and this you can charge your vehicle directly here. Okay, so that is the case why we use a offboard charging. And offboard charging can make a fast charging, but onboard charger cannot make a fast charging because there is a limitation in the space in the electric vehicles. Okay, so that it is about plug-in electric vehicles, you can say, or electric vehicles, you can say. Okay, so this is a battery charger, this is EV battery, and I think you have understood what I am trying to say you. Okay, now what are the different standards for EV charging? Okay, so this is a charging system. I may go for AC charging or I will go for DC charging. Okay, what I mean to say by AC charging and DC charging means charging system means AC supply is directly given to the electric vehicle, and in that in turns they try to convert AC into DC and they give DC into DC, so that is called onboard charging. Okay, so the limitations or benefit, you can say that it is inside the vehicle, smaller in size, slow charging, and it adds weight to the vehicle. Okay, but the DC charging means what? You convert AC into DC outside the vehicle. Okay, and that is why it utilizes offboard charging. Okay, so it is outside the vehicle, heavier and larger in size. It is having a fast charging, transfer high kilowatt to vehicle with no addition of weight. Okay, so these are the things which you can add it on the offboard charging. Okay, but offboard charging will not be available at every places, but onboard charging will be available. Just you use a plug, single phase supply, and you give it. For DC fast charging, you have to go for a 3-phase separate charging system. As like a petrol pump, you have to have a different charging systems. Okay, now this is the different levels of charging. Okay, different levels of charging means what? Level 1, level 2, level 3. So there are different levels of charging. So level 1 charging means it is having 120 volt single phase. This is of US standard. Okay, in US there is no any 220 volt supply, it is 120 volt single phase supply. Okay, then you go for level 2, 208 to 240 volt single phase. Okay, then you go to level 3, 480 volt or higher single phase or 3-phase system. Okay, so how much current you can draw from here in level 1? 16 ampere, and 208 to 240 volt you can draw up to 80 ampere. Okay, and power rating, you can go from 2 kilowatt and below up to 20 kilowatt, but if you need higher current, you go above 20 kilowatt. So these two are onboard charging and this is your offboard charging. Okay, then there is a International Electrochemical Commissions, IEC, and they also define different charging methods. So they have defined mode 1, mode 2, mode 3, mode 4. Okay, and these are the chargers. So this charging requirement or standards are used in Indian environment, Indian conditions, Indian road conditions. Okay, so you can see that these three are the onboard. We are going for 22 to 43 kilowatt onboard, and if it is more than 450 kilowatt, we are going to offboard charging. Okay, so I think you understood between onboard and offboard. Onboard meaning is what? You are trying to charge, whole charging system is available on the electric car chassis. Okay, but offboard means what? The complete charging system is away. Only the battery, you are giving a supply to the battery and battery is getting charged. Okay, so in this way you can make a fast charging in offboard. In onboard you cannot make a fast charging, you have to go for slow charging. Okay, now developed standards for connectors. When you are trying to connect to a battery, so there are some connectors are there. So one is your CHAdeMO. CHAdeMO, this is a Japanese technologies. Okay, this is a Japanese technology. So you can see that apart from the current terminals, AC DC or DC terminals, there are many ports are there. You can see that there are many ports are there. So these are the communications things, because when you are charging it, you cannot drive the vehicle. So all these communications things are there, which will be plugged together, and then only your charging will happen. Okay, so this is a Japanese based quick charging standards. Okay, it follows control area network CAN communication protocol. Okay, it has 2 large pins for DC power and other pins for carrying CAN bus connections. Okay, it delivers power up to 62.5 kilowatt by 500 volt DC and 125 ampere of current it can go it. Now, which are the cars is using this CHAdeMO? Nissan, Leaf, Mitsubishi incorporates this standards. Okay, it does not support AC charging. Okay, AC charging is slow charger, but this is mainly made for fast charging. Okay, then GB by T is a standard used in China, and India is using GB. है ना? Okay. Now, what is the full form of GB? That GB stands for GUBO and T stands for recommended. है ना? So this is a Chinese-based standard. As we are near to China, है ना, we are using GB by T standard. So Indian, whatever they have developed, the connectors, they are GB by T connectors because we can easily get it from the China's market. So for simplicity, they have used it China. But nowadays, as you know, that the people are using, hating the Chinese. We are trying to make our own standards, and for that, the Niti Aayog is trying to develop some standards for electric vehicle systems. Okay. Now there is a combined charging system CCS, that is called. It is having AC as well as DC. Both AC pins and DC pins are there. So if you want to make a slow charging, you use this. If you need having a fast charging, you use this. So both the things are there, and these are mostly used in European market. Okay. Tesla supercharger, that is itself you can say that it is a company or standards, you can say that. So Tesla is very good in electric vehicle, and they are developing a good amount of products as well as the charger, and they claim that they can charge in 15 minutes of 350 kilowatt hour battery. Okay. In India, it requires 90 minutes, and they claim that they can make it for. So they're using the combination of all these things, and they're using their own standards. Okay. Basically implemented in North America, already it is in used. In India also, Tesla is planning to operate its plants in the charger and battery operated electric vehicles. Now, this is the mechanism of charging infrastructure. We can go for level 1 EVSE. It is a typically a residential charger. At level 2 EVSE, typically used in commercial spaces, and level 3 EVSE DC. EVSE means what? Electric vehicle supply equipment. Okay. So this is complete called the charger. Okay. So EVSE DC charging station also happens to have an unofficial level not recognized by SC, but now it is used here. So this is the level 1, level 2, which is there in the electric vehicle chassis, and level 3 is there in the off-board. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll open, before going to the next level, I'll open for a discussions, because I feel that whether you are connected or not with me, I just wanted to clear it. So if you have any questions, please do ask the questions. Then we'll go to the next round of discussions.
Dear participants, if you are having any queries, please ask, sir. Or you can also post in chat box.
I'll just receive one call and post on that. Any doubt?
Sir, one participant asking that, can supercapacitor use in
Sir,
electric vehicle battery?
Okay.
If yes, then explain role of supercapacitor.
Okay. See, supercapacitors are used as a supporting storage. What is the benefit of supercapacitor is that the supercapacitors make a quick charging and quick discharging. Okay. So when supercapacitors are mostly used in buses, For example, bus is having a stop of 2 minutes. So in 2 minutes, the battery will not get charged, है ना, because battery has a response time, है ना, a large response time. But the supercapacitors have a lower response time. So what will happen? The sudden charge will be stored in the supercapacitor, and when the buses are plying it, then that terms it will give to the battery. Okay, in that terms it will give to the battery, and battery will be charged to the supercapacitors. So wherever you require a sudden charge requirement, है ना, sudden charge requirement, where your electric vehicle is not getting charged, you store it in the supercapacitors, and then supercapacitors you try to give to the battery. So only there we require supercapacitors. Okay. So when there is a short duration of time, because buses are plying from morning to evening, okay, and you don't have a time to charge it, so there you store it in a supercapacitors and then give it to the battery. I hope it is clear. Any doubt?
Any other queries?
Okay. So shall we start?
Sir, which of the cities? Sir, I have a question.
Okay.
Sir, which of the cities nowadays in India using these electric vehicles very properly? Means
Okay.
nowadays in India.
Okay. See, in city wise, if you say the Department of Heavy Industries है ना, have planned to set up charging stations and almost all part of the India. In Delhi, you will find different charging stations. Okay. And Tata Motors and Mahindra is already selling its car in the electric vehicle domain in the India. If you go to Bangalore, or if you just Google it, lithium power. So lithium power is a company which is plying the electric vehicles on roads. So as like Ola and Uber is there. So Ola, Uber, it is having a lithium, and they are having a large pool of lithium cars. Okay, so just Google it, you will getting it. So Bangalore city is one of the mostly used. In Chennai, also the lithium is there, and they are running their vehicles. Then in Chennai, there is a electric buses are there. They are using the concept of supercapacitors. They charge it for short duration of time, and then they charge the battery. So DHI has given the responsibility of implementing the electric vehicles on Indian roads. So they are trying to install as much as you can say that. So as per the latest knowledge, around 250 fast chargers has been placed across the India. Okay. So some of the chargers are there placed in Chennai. Some of the chargers have been placed in Delhi. Some of the chargers are there in Bangalore. Some of the chargers they are putting on the highways. Still, the work is going on. Okay. In electric vehicle companies, if you say about the companies, 3 companies are running in full-fledged. Okay. One is your Tata e-Tigor, Mahindra e-Verito. Okay. Then Morris Garage MG Hector, you might have heard it. So Morris Garage ZS EVs is there. That is completely electric vehicle. So already it is on sale, and if you just type a Google, you'll find that how many electric vehicles are used. I think it is more than 50,000 of electric cars are running it on the Indian roads. Many of the companies like Infosys or TCS, for internal circulation, they are using electric vehicles only. Okay, they tie up with lithium or some other companies. They try to buy the electric vehicles, and they're running inside their campus. Okay, so electric vehicle is going to rise in exponential way. Okay, but now whatever the situation is there that I have given.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, in order to improve this kind of awareness in central regions of India and in the northeastern region, what steps we should have to take up in order to improve awareness in this region, in central region,
Okay.
just like Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh?
Right.
and
Right.
in these
Very,
areas.
very good questions. I'll tell you that Government of India has initiated a FAME, है ना? Okay, FAME concept, FAME. FAME means faster adoption, okay, of faster adoption of some M. I forgetting the name of full form of M. Okay, electric vehicles, है ना? FAME, है ना? E stands for electric vehicles. So India government has given a subsidy of 750 crore to promote this, है ना? Promote this. So only the problem issue is the awareness, and that awareness is due to chargers. Okay, that suppose I am buying a vehicle and I cannot go out of the city. Okay, if I am going out of the city, and then my battery will get collapsed. So already the government of India is planning, and awareness has started. Okay, once the charger standards has been developed in India, and it is going to roll in the market. Okay, so many petrol pumps and diesels, for example, you might have heard about IOCL, Bharat, है ना? They have been tied up to set up a chargers at their petrol pumps. Okay, so separate installations are there, है ना? Okay, I have seen that charger. If you know Lucknow Agra Expressway, so there some motels are there, and they have identified the place where to put the EV chargers. Okay, so already that is in pipeline. But in 1 year, you will find that the awareness will start. And once the charger is installed, an electric vehicle is gearing up. Okay, even government has started the FAME things, and with the FAME, they are planning to give a subsidy, and with the subsidy, the people will try to buy it. Now, if the time of day pricing starts, an electric vehicle, if the government says that, okay, I'll give 1 rupees unit of charging, so in that case, the electric vehicle users will grow in any way. So in the end of the 2021, you will find that there is a lot of scope is there. Okay, so suppose I am
Okay,
also doing
thank
one.
you.
I am also doing one way of awareness to you. Okay, with this lecture. So in this way, you will be trying to say to someone else. So in this way, the whole India will be able to understand about the electric vehicle chargers or electric vehicles. Any other questions? Okay, so I'll go ahead. Anna. So modes of charging, mode 1 charging, mode 2 charging, similarly there are many modes of charging are there. Okay, so there is a socket outlet plug, connector. Okay, this is an onboard charger, so onboard charger, there is a socket plug, in cable control box. So you are trying to control over here, and directly you are giving a supply to this. Then mode 3 chargers, socket outlet plug connector, and directly you can give to the outlet. Then mode 4 charging, DC quick charging facilities. So this is charger developed, and you are going to charge it. So this is the modes of EV charging. Okay, now when you are trying to charge, what are the technology you are using it? So first technology is called CC charging, that is constant current. You are giving constant current throughout the charging system to the battery. Okay, then your another way of charging is constant voltage charging method. Okay, so you are giving a constant voltage and current is varying. Current is varying. Okay, but there are having some limitations with this two charger. Okay, there are having limitations with this two charger. Then there is a constant current, constant voltage charging method. So what you are trying to do it, you are making a CCCV charging. For timing, you are giving a constant current, and after that you are giving a constant voltage to break the current into that. Then the people started with multi-stage constant current charging method. So in that the people started that they are going to give a pulse charging. They will give a step and then they will give a charging. Then there is a multi-state constant current constant voltage charging method. Then finally the pulse constant voltage charging method means what, you have to give some pulses pulses to the battery. So why you are giving a pulse? That pulse will be for some duration and some duration stops. So there is a charge discharge balancing will be there, and when the charge discharging balancing is there, you can go for a faster. So if you start from here to you go to here, and this pulse constant voltage charging method is a future charging method, and constant current constant voltage charging method is employed nowadays for most of the typical chargers. Okay, so this is the you can say that this is the importance of the constant current charging, and it is having some drawbacks. Okay, similarly there is a constant voltage charging, and there is a drawback that it results in high initial battery losses, thereby producing switching transients. Okay, then what is CCCV charging, which I told you, which is mostly used? So you give a constant current, and then you give a constant voltage. So when you give a constant voltage, so this is your voltage varying. When your voltage is varying, current is constant. Okay, but when your voltage is constant, your current is reducing it. So here you can have a break. So it is believed that in lower time, when your constant current is there, you charge your battery to its full capacity, and from 90 to 100%, it is taking a lot of time because you have to curtail the current flowing into the battery. Okay, so this is the constant current, but it has a drawbacks. It takes relatively longer time in CV mode, and energy required to charge the battery is more. So this is the derivation. Whatever I have told you and whatever I am discussing it, this is our own research, which we are doing in our lab. Then there is a multi-stage constant current charging. Okay, so it is also having some drawbacks. Okay, then this is a pulse CV charging. We are giving a pulse, and after that you give a CV charging. So here, when there is a pulse is there, and when there is a off time is there, so here there is a charge recombination takes place, and battery is not heated. Okay, in case of pulse charging. Okay, so temperature during the pulse region is less than that of the CC mode, and charging time is less when compared with other charging methods. Okay, so these are the issues which we need to have before charging it. So here also a lot of researches are going that which charging you do it, so that your battery is not getting damaged and you are going to make a fast charging. Okay, so if you say that you have developed a fast charging, you can earn like anything in rupees. Okay, and that is the technology we are developing it, and if you can develop it, you are the owner of that technology. Okay, so there is a unidirectional power flow when a grid is there and vehicle is there, so there is a unidirectional flow is there. But if your power is flowing throughout both the direction, we say that it is G2V or V2G. G2 means grid to vehicle, and V2G means vehicle to grid. So there can be a both the directions the power flow can be there. Okay, now bidirectional power flow, V2G and G2V, what I can say that, so power can be fed back to grid during peak load demand. Okay, and helps in managing fluctuation in power by reducing burden on the grid, and can play an important role during blackouts. What do you mean by blackouts? Can you tell me what do you mean by blackouts? Blackouts is that when the power shutdown is there, and power shutdown has happened, and you have to start your generators. So the battery response time is better as compared to the generators, because idle generators are taking a lot of time to start, and even the thermal power plant is going to take starts. But if all the electric vehicles are connected on the grid, and if you try to give a power to the grid and you start the grid, so in that case your blackouts you can play a very important role using electric vehicles. So there are lot of benefits. So demand side management is possible. Okay, demand side management means what? You are trying to control the current in the battery, and in that way you are trying to control the demand side management. Okay, excess electricity can be fed back to the grid, thus maintaining power quality. Okay, so you can fed back to the grid, and while you are maintaining the power quality. Okay, benefits to the consumer such as reduction of the electricity bill, because you are trying to control the current flowing into the battery, in and out of the battery. So types of EV connections, there are different types of connections: case A connection, case B connection, case C connections. Okay, so these are the way how you're connecting to the main supply. Okay, then EV charging charger structure. So this is your AC supply. This is your PFC rectifier where you convert AC into DC. And here the DC is supplied to the DC link capacitors, and based on that, this is a DC bidirectional converter, and you pass to the battery. Okay, so this is the things which we are maintaining it. Okay, now role of PFC in EV charger is, just go and read it. You will be able to understand that what is the role of PFC in EV charger. So as I told you that we are converting AC to DC, there will be some wave shape will be there in the DC. So to reduce the wave shape, to get a straight line, we are using a PFC charger, PFC based EV charger. Okay. Then there are different types of PFC topologies used with EV charger. Okay. Then you can say that buck converter, boost converter, step down converter. So these are the terminologies which we are using it. Okay. This is the representation of charger topologies. So we can have a unidirectional converters, we can have a bidirectional converter, we can have a non-isolated converter, we can have a isolated converter. So these are the converter topologies used in charger. Okay, and nowadays unidirectional topologies are used, but in future they are planning to have a bidirectional topologies. So when you will be using electric vehicles in future, you will be asking that please give me a charger or converter topologies so that I can sell power to the grid also. Okay, so while buying, there will be options will be there that whether you can sell power to the grid or not. Okay, so this is the DC to DC converter topologies, and you might be knowing it, which is used mostly in the electric vehicle charging systems. Okay, this is the another DC to DC converter topologies. Okay. Now, as I told you that what is the state estimation in EV chargers? So state estimation means what? You are trying to estimate the SOC and you are trying to estimate the state of health. Okay. And these estimators will give the better viability of the battery life. So when you are having the understanding of your health of the battery, you can run your battery in a proper way. Even it is believed that if you understand that what is your battery quality, you can increase the life of the battery of your mobile. So you can say that some of the battery users or mobile users, they degrade their battery in 1 year, but some of the users, they try to put it in 2 years or 3 years. The reason behind, they know it, what I have to do it and what I have to don't have to do it. So for plus point, I'll tell you everyone that if you're using your mobile or laptops and you are trying to charge it, never drain the battery completely and use it. So try to use it up to 30%, okay? And don't charge your battery up to 100%, charge up to 90%. So always you have to charge from 30% to 90%, and while using it, 90% to 30% you go it. If you're using this way, your battery life will be better. Battery life will be better, and you can get a good quality of the battery in your mobile or laptop. Similar things happens in the electric vehicles as well as. Okay, so that is why state estimation in EV charger is very important. So how I used to measure the state of charge. So we use direct method, indirect method. So direct method is voltage method, impedance method, electrochemical impedance as spectroscopy method, Coulomb counting method. So these are out of scope of this discussions, and we can discuss later on if you need some specialized discussion on these things. Okay. Then there is a indirect method, model based or neural network based methods. Okay. So these are the estimations which we are using it. So in a model based estimation, we use cell behavior analysis. Then we determine the order of the RC model, then identification of element values, then we do a cell modeling. Okay. So these are the way by which we try to measure the SOC and SOH values. Okay. So state of health estimation for EV chargers. So these are the ways which we do it. Now there is a two types of aging of a battery. One is called calendar aging, another is called the cycling aging. Okay. So these two are used mostly. So either I take it the battery for 5 hours, or how much charge and discharge cycle I have used it. So this is called cycling aging. Suppose you are taking a battery and you charge and discharge every day. So that will, you are going for 365. But if you are putting it for longer days, it can go for 2 years without charging. Okay. So this is the calendar aging of a battery. So these are the two kinds of fade in lithium ion batteries. One is capacity fade and one is power fade. So power is also fading and capacity is also fading in a battery. So these are the state of health estimation. This is the state of health estimation methods we are using within Kalman filter. Okay. This is the next generation charger based on SOC and SOH estimators. Okay. So you are using SOC and SOH estimation to predict the life of the battery, and based on that you are charging your battery. Okay. So this is the recent trends which you are observing in India and abroad. And this is the recent trends which we are using in India. Delta, Phoenix, Exicom, they are the chargers who are making the chargers and a battery. Okay. Now, car manufacturers company involved: Mahindra E20 Plus, Mahindra E-Verito, Tata Tigor Electric, Mahindra E-KUV 100, Tata Tiago Electric, and many more is coming in future. Okay. So this is your next generation EV charger, where your charger is there, cloud computing, IoT based, blockchain, smart charge scheduling, V2X technology, battery management system, battery technology. So this will be your smart electric vehicles will be there when you communicate with the world. Okay, because for example, when you are going on the road and in your app it is asked that you go to this charging station and that charger is vacant, so you go and you block it. So what you are trying to communicate with the outer world, and you are charging the systems. So that is your next generation EV charger. So with this, I'll say you thank you, and the session is open for the question and answer session.
So dear participants, if you are having any queries, please ask to sir, or you can post in chat box. Sir, I think no more queries, sir.
More queries. Okay.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for very valuable and informative session. And I think electric vehicles, charging methods, different technologies using in charging methods, all these are nowadays, I think, very trending research areas. So you have given very clear-cut idea on these topics. Those who are working on these topics, I think they have got some more knowledge. And those who want to do research, you have given right direction for them. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And any issues, any doubt, you can share my email ID to the participant, and they can email and they can be in touch with me anytime.
Okay, sir.
So you can share, and the presentation also I'll share to you people, so that you can share the presentation to others. Take care.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So dear participants, next session will start from 2:30 onwards. So please try to join at least 5 minutes before starting of the session. Thank you. Thank you very much.